So, starting and ending on time, I'd like to welcome you all to the third district training assembly. This one on public relations. Hopefully, we'll give you a little different perspective than you've had in the past. Before we really get into it, though, I'd like to turn things over to Charles Gagne to talk about the meeting functionality and how this works best for all of us.
Great, thanks, Mike. Hi, everybody. This is Charles. Just some real quick notes here to make the meeting enjoyable for all of us. If you pull the mouse down to the bottom of your screen, you'll see a toolbar that will appear when you pull the mouse to the bottom of your screen. If you look to the left, you see a microphone. If you'll please click on that microphone, that will mute your sound, and that way we won't have any background ambient noise. Also, there's another icon next to it that's a video icon. If you'll also click on that, and what that will do, it will turn your camera off if you currently have it on. So two things, please just make the meeting go smoothly. Mute your microphone and stop the video from playing. Finally, during the meeting, if you have questions, if you'll go to the right of that same toolbar, you'll see a chat option. If you'll just click on that, you can send a chat message to the speaker or to the group. The speaker or the group will see that and respond. Please send your messages to Mike Hayes. So in your menu list, when you hit the chat button, please send your question to Mike Hayes, and Mike will reread the question and will announce it to the group. Mike, back to you.
Okay, we hope to have enough time for question and answer at the end using your microphone. That was a request for one of the earlier seminars. But if we don't, let's try to utilize the chat feature. So, leading the meeting off with the invocation, past District Governor Clarence Prudhomme. Clarence.
So, my fellow Rotarians, if I may have your ear and mind for a few moments, we come with two purposes in mind. We want to thank God for the strength, health that we do enjoy. Thank you for this opportunity to continue doing great things throughout this country, throughout our communities. And the second purpose, we want to just ask for that continued strength and health so we continue to do those things that are right. Hopefully, one day we'll all be able to hear those magic words, no more polio. So, good God, we thank you for the many blessings. We ask you to bless our district governor as he leads us in the right direction. Be with us, continue to be with us, and let us do what is thy will. In your name we pray, amen.
And leading us in the pledge, District Governor-elect Harold Prudhomme. Harold Domain, I'm sorry.
That's all right. If you place your right hand on your heart and join me in the pledge, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. And with the four-way test and our opening address, District Governor Gary Lacombe.
So, of the things that we think, say, or do, please recite with me. Is it the truth? Beneficial to us. Okay, I don't know what that was, but wanted to say thank you for joining in for another of our electronic sessions. I'm excited about this one. Want to learn a little bit more and things that we can pass on. A special word of thanks to the people behind the scene who have put this together, to our presenters, Charles, to being the maestro, the conductor, keep us going. Trudy, we just gonna have to find you. I guess that's what we're gonna do. But I hope we take some key learnings away from this and try and build on this type of format for learning. So with that, I'll just turn it over. Mike Hayes, let's get to our topics. Thank you.
Okay, so on the agenda we have McHugh David setting public relations goals and objectives leading off, and we'll go from there.
Hi, Eddie. How's everybody this evening? I appreciate y'all letting me talk this evening. I'm leading it off. Yes, I have a little curly Q on the bottom of my beard. Please don't pick on me. Today, we're talking about something that's pretty near and dear to me. I own a newspaper. It's public relations. The important thing to understand about public relations is that anything you do that's front-facing to your community and the people that you serve is public relations. It's not just Facebook. It's not just your sergeant at arms greeting the people who walk in the door. It's everything. And it's important to understand that in thinking about the different things that you can do. And I know that we're going to be talking more about that later on in the presentation. So I'm going to get started on my part, which is setting goals. The big part about setting goals, and I promise I have a little presentation. I'm supposed to share this. And there it is. Okay. So start from the beginning. Go and do. That is the most important thing. Do something. A lot of people get caught up in how do we promote ourselves within our community. Stop. The first thing you need to do is do things as a club. That is the most important thing you can do. Even word of mouth is public relations, and it is the place to start. It is important. It is important to gather as a leadership team and then disseminate that through the club. Do something. Got to do something. And I mean, it could be, this slide is just telling you what I told you before. Whatever you're putting out there is what public relations is, okay? It's not just Facebook. It's not just the newspaper. It's not just TV, not radio. It's everything. It encompasses all of it, and it's a lot. So the best thing to do is to do something first. You know, projects, meet. Yes, you can promote your meetings. It's kind of a good idea to do that. And I go through a couple of things here. Look, I mean, this is just a meeting. This is just a picture that we put up. We put it in the newspaper. We put it on Facebook. We put it on Twitter, and we put it on Instagram. And it is public relations, right? And these ladies came and talked. They were from a foster home. They run a foster care. And we did a story about them in the newspaper. So we kind of got that double dip. And, you know, this was after our 5K. The cool thing about this is that any kind of public relations that you do, okay, anytime you talk about your project, talk to other people about your project, promote your project, it can lead to other things. I like this photo. Y'all get to see it. Look at Gary over there looking goofy. What I like about this picture here is this actually led to Shoe Station donating 500 pairs of shoes per semester for the Livingston Parish school system. It meant a lot to us. We put a lot of work into the 5K that led into this picture, and then this picture led to more. So that lends a little credence to get started. You got to do something. Okay. Oh God, Gary, you were all over my presentation. I did not mean to do that. I promise. If y'all didn't know, District Governor Gary Lacombe is in our club, and he's a retired engineer, and he asks entirely too many questions. This one here, we asked someone in the city of Denham Springs what they needed. This is what came of it, and it was a very simple project. It was a lot of fun. It was hot. We did it on an August Saturday morning. But we threw this out here, and the interesting thing about this one is this didn't necessarily lead to other projects, but it led to other members. Okay, this was big. We got about 3 members out of this project, and we've got 2 more on the hook because of this particular. And we just asked the lady from the city of Denham Springs, "What do you need?" And she said, "Well, people are putting all sorts of stuff in the storm drains that they're not supposed to." So we went out there. Like I said, it was a hot Saturday morning. Gary got on his hands and knees and cleaned off all the little grates, and we put our little signals on. We put our little symbol on there. But it was good for us, and we got to push it out there, and we got to say Rotary participates in. As you can see from this one, we said volunteers are needed. So getting out there and doing is absolutely the first part of any kind of public relations. People will see you. They'll see you doing things, and then you can take it on the back end and use it on social media, in the regular media, that kind of thing. I love this quote, okay? This is important. If you're the PR chair, the president, the vice president, if you're part of one of those really small clubs where you're all three of those people. This is a very, very, very important quote, and it's something I learned the hard way in my year as president of our club, okay? It's not what you expect, it's what you inspect, okay? I know that everyone here is a volunteer, you love your club, you love what you're doing. Not every member of your club is like that. People, you kind of have to, you got to poke them. What are you doing? What are you doing? PR is no different, okay? It is part of your club function. So when you're getting together with your leadership team and you're talking about public relations, and there'll be more people who will be getting into the specifics of what you do to, I can't say public relate your club, but broadcast your club out there. You have to understand that when you're setting goals and you want to do things the right way, you write them down. Make sure that they are realistic. Okay, those two things are huge. Okay, there are business statistics out there, and I usually relate them to clubs. Say, if you write your goals down, you are over 50% more likely to achieve them. So please, 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 when you're meeting as a leadership group and you're talking about your goals, or you're meeting as a public relations committee and you're talking about your goals, write them down. Please, I can't even tell you how important that is. Now, the next part of that, which is great, okay, is what Rotary.org has done for clubs, okay? Rotary Club Central. And I'm doing this for Gary. Gary, I'm doing it for you. I love you, man. But this is actually great. I managed my whole club through this. If you don't know what it is, I encourage you to check it out. You get to go put in all of your goals for the year as a club, and they have public relations stuff in there.
Is that something new for a while? Yeah.
I love these things. They're so fun. So you get to go in there, you get to put in your goals, and it helps you track them without – it's a centralized location for it. Let's put it that way. You know, someone may have written them down, may have lost their notepad, who knows. But Rotary Club Central offers you a place to put your club goals all in one place so that everybody can be on the same page, can follow what you're after. So to wrap up what I'm saying here, I talk quickly, so I think I went too fast, or maybe I went right on time. Very important, very, very, very important to set goals. But when you're setting those goals, understand that a lot of times that is in relation to running your club. Okay, you're promoting the process of your club. That's projects, meetings, your district governor visit, anybody who might come from somewhere else. But at the very end of it, you also have to remember that it's the things on the other end too. Okay, you've got to communicate with, first and foremost, your PR chair. Next, you've got to communicate with local media. I mean, that's anybody these days with a phone. I mean, there's a thing called influencers, okay? I believe Miss Lydia is actually one of them. Okay? These are popular people in your community who are very active on social media. That's a great point to hit. Your newspaper, your radio, and your local TV station. They're all interested in what you're doing. There's just a lot of stuff going on. You got to reach out to them. Let them know what you're doing. But it all goes back, and you hear that word, doing. You have to do stuff. You have to start doing things. Don't, you might stumble through your public relations a little bit, but start with something. Start a project, invite some high-level speakers to your meetings, get people in there, make contacts with media people. It's a great place to start, is your meetings. You can do a lot from a centralized location, because a lot of times discussion there leads into projects. It was a big thing that I pushed my years. We got to go out and do stuff. And we ended up having a pretty successful year. So please, if there's anything you take away from my part of this presentation, do something. And when you start doing things, see what works, see what doesn't. When you're sitting down as a leadership team, write down your goals. Please, please, please write down your goals. Okay. And from there, it's inspecting what you're doing, making sure that you're doing it right. And there's nothing wrong with telling someone, hey, I'd like to try it this way instead of that way. Just don't yell at them. Don't fuss at them. Anyway, that's my part. The next person coming up is Charles. He's part of the E-Rotary Coastal Club. And I want to make sure I got this right. Y'all actually started the club because of coastal. Y'all are all interested in coastal reservation, which is really cool. For Louisiana, that's a big deal. And Charles is talking about identifying your audience, which is very important. So thank y'all. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, McHugh.
Great, thank you. All right, guys, this is Charles. Let's talk a little bit about, based on that bit of advice of planning and goal setting, who are we speaking to? So let's just take a moment to kind of think about who our audience might be. So the thing about public relations is that we're talking to people for a purpose. It's not as though we just kind of gathered in a room and we're just catching up. It's for a purpose. And again, that ties right back into the whole concept of having a goal. But what's important about when you're speaking to somebody with a purpose is it's really about them as much as it is about you. And what I mean by that is that, we are intimately knowledgeable about what we're doing, our projects and everything that's going on. But we need to couch our communications in terms of the listener. So it really is about them. So sometimes your message may change a bit depending on who you're speaking to, because not every audience is the same. And so really, ultimately, the win in public relations is having the right message to the right person at the right time. So let's kind of dig into that just a little bit. How about this one as an audience? How about your members? I mean, by definition, your members have demonstrated that they're deeply interested in what you have to say. So why not start with them? They already know who you are, and it may sound obvious, but one of the big hurdles in communicating is like, who is this email from? Why did I get this press release? Who's the Rotary? Oh yeah, I saw that on the welcome to Denham Springs sign. I don't know what Rotary is. We think the world understands this. Maybe they don't, but your members sure do. And they've demonstrated that interest, which is a key hurdle to getting your message out. What's great about not overlooking the members is that Rotarians, by definition, are connected people. And so if our Rotarian membership takes the message back clearly, we have a great potential to amplify and multiply the message, because all of us have our own networks, our own companies, and our own contacts. So whenever you're doing that, always make sure that if you want to make sure to get the word out, that you have something easy, a poster, a flyer, a handout, a Facebook post, something that will make it simple for our own members to amplify that message. We are a powerful force under ourselves. So let's talk about the media. So when we talk about public relations, we're often talking about the media because there's enormous power in having your story picked up and published. But it's really, just a quick reminder, folks, if you pull your mouse to the bottom of your screen, click on that mute button on the microphone, please. But an interesting dynamic about the media is that they're constantly saying, talk to me, tell me what's going on in the community, give me some news. But at the same time, they're on deadline. I mean, it's like writing a term paper every single day. So they're bombarded constantly by people that are asking to pick up the story. So it's really important that if you're going to talk to the media, when you speak to the media, that you understand what their world is like. They often write about specific things, a fairly narrow channel of topics. So be courteous and understand what they write about, and only send the story to the right beat editor or find out who it is. And it's really easy to discern who it is. I mean, you just need to ask. You just call the general number and ask, or go online and figure it out. Or if you see an article or a story, you can reach out to those people. So just be respectful and courteous to get the right story to the right person. If you want to make sure you're not picked up, just spam them. Just send them a bunch of stuff and let them try to sort it out. They don't have time to do that. So again, make the effort to know who you're speaking to. And they're people too. I mean, look at what McHugh just did. I mean, he's a great guy, somebody you'd like to talk to. It's a personal relationship. So if you want to get coverage, take the time to invest in knowing who the reporters are and what the media is out there doing. And by the way, tell them thank you. Everybody wants to talk to the media when they want something. Very few people call back and say, hey, thanks for that coverage. We really appreciate what you did. But what's also really good about being a Rotarian is that by definition, our membership and our speakers are fascinating people. I mean, think of who shows up at a club to speak. I mean, they are often very newsworthy unto themselves. So if we have a parish president or a CEO of a hospital or something, I mean, all of our speakers are important, but oftentimes we have real high-profile people speaking. And the media will often welcome the opportunity to be at your meeting to speak to them. One important fact, though, if you are going to have media at the meeting, unless it's just embedded in a meeting like Livingston is, make sure the speaker knows that, because again, some people have very careful outlets, and they may need to vet their presentation, particularly if they know that it might be picked up by media. It's just a courtesy. And again, you don't want to blindside a speaker and not let them know that there will be media present during their presentation. The speakers themselves are actually their own audience. And what I mean by this is that just like we as Rotarians have our own channels and networks, so do our speakers. So just imagine the governor or the lieutenant governor or a judge or somebody. Just imagine that they're a speaker at your Rotary Club. Well, they have their own group. So what I recommend that you do is send them your release or send them information, either to them directly or to whoever's handling their media, so that they can easily distribute what they're speaking about and when they're speaking and what the setting might be. So again, let them use their own networks to amplify it. And again, don't lose track of who we are as Rotarians. Being invited to speak to Rotary carries weight. And I know sometimes we feel like we're kind of, scraping, trying to find speakers, but actually I think the reverse is true, is that people are honored and flattered to be asked to speak to Rotary. So, I mean, don't underestimate that. So give your speakers information about your club and about their speaking, even maybe your press release and announcement, so they can in turn share it with their channels. Also, keep in mind that many of our speakers have very deep vertical roots. So they may have trade media. So whether the general press picks up your story or not, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But even if that isn't newsworthy in a news cycle, it's probably is very newsworthy within the trade media. So again, the CEO of a hospital. So I guarantee you there's a hospital CEO trade media. So make sure that you at least ask your speaker, is there somebody we can send your announcement to that you'll be speaking at a Rotary meeting, or it could even be post-meeting or something like that. And these things are very easy to find. You can Google any industry and locate the trade journals or the trade publications that cover the topic your speaker is coming in. Also, just something that's really magical about media is that once you are published anywhere on the internet, in print, in a magazine, you'll run into somebody at the mall or Walmart a year later, and they'll say something like, "Hey, I saw you in that newspaper article," and it may have been a great deal of time ago. So there's a lot of stickiness to having your story told. So again, it's worth this effort to do it. Also, the community, as McHugh was saying, again, do something. There needs to be sort of a critical mass. I mean, people may understand what Rotary is all about and what you're doing, and they may not. But just the volume, even if you don't get picked up every single time, still continue to push the information out. It's really important because it will begin to feel like you have a large presence in your community over time by just making this a priority. So one of your main audiences is the community, and all of our Rotary clubs are community-based. I know we're an international organization, but really the rubber hits the road at the community level. So make sure that you are sending out information just in volume on a regular basis. Make it a priority. Make it a core function within your club. And also make sure that you send out information to anybody that would be impacted by what you're doing. So, for example, our club will be doing a cypress tree planting in Pointe-aux-Chenes in Lower Terrebonne Parish. So guess what? The Pointe-aux-Chenes community, anybody that's involved in wetlands, anybody that has a nursery, anybody, the biology department at Nichols State University, our local university. So anybody that has a vested interest in in this project, again, whether they know Rotary or not, let them know that you're doing it. Because again, they will generate interest, just like the drain project did it. Again, people will be interested that you're doing that. So take a little extra effort to see who would benefit from the topic of the speaker that you have, and let them know as well. And again, you'll be amazed what will come of this, not only recognition in the community, but also membership and other participating organizations. The last bullet point, use a hashtag. So when you publish electronically, if you precede whatever the topic is with a hashtag, what that does is it makes it searchable on the internet. So if you put hashtag drain projects, if somebody's looking for the word drain projects, again, it's possible at least that your article will come up. Again, you can extend the life of the release. And that's pretty much it. So I think our next presenter is Linda Fruchet. Lydia, excuse me, where I go, Lydia. So I'll close my screen and I'll pass it on to Lydia, please.
Thank you, Charles. Okay, so let me get mine up and going. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the brand aspect. When you think of brand, I don't know necessarily what comes to your mind, branding, club branding. I know sometimes it's hard for us to think outside of just the Rotary box. We might think that okay, this is a Rotary club, this is a Rotary club. Well, they're all Rotary clubs. How do we differentiate ourselves? The best example as far as, okay, this is one thing, but there's many different varieties, is soda or pop. Okay, so if you walk into a restaurant and you ask for Pepsi and they say, oh, we have Coke. Well, there's a lot of people out there who that's going to be a big deal, right? Or if you ask for a Dr. Pepper and they're like, oh, well, we have Mr. Pibb. You know, it's not going to be the same. But in the end of the day, right, they're all soft drinks. But the branding and possibly the taste set each of those apart. And that's kind of the same thing that you want to do with your club. So when you are talking about your brand, what that really comes down to is the identity. Okay, so it's who you are and what you do. So who you are is, of course, you know, your Rotary. It's the members who make up your club. It's the different aspects of your values. The what you do, that is, you know, kind of your meeting, your service projects, your fundraisers, the speakers that you typically line up. That kind of falls in line there. So when you want to get down to what sets your club apart, I think you have to look at those who identify as members and say, okay, what's our niche? Example, so I'm in the Lake Charles Happy Hour Rotary Club, and though we do have a variety of age ranges, we have this sweet spot for the young professionals. That's what makes our average age, you know, in basically the early 30s. Or the other side of that is those that can meet outside of your typical lunch or breakfast meetings, since we have an after hours meeting. How is our club different from those in our area, meaning the other Rotary clubs, or from other service organizations? So in Lake Charles, we have our club, we have the Greater Lake Charles, we have the Lake Charles Club. Then we have 2 in Sulphur, 1 in Westlake. So we have in total 6 clubs that are in pretty close proximity to each other. So for us, it's probably more about differentiating ourselves between the other clubs. That way, if things come up, they identify that with us, or it can be kind of traced back. And it's not necessarily to say, oh, that was us for bragging rights, right? Because if you do it in the name of Rotary, then it's good all the way around. But for those who want to get involved, they need to know what club, if that's their interest, did that to get plugged in. And then you might be in a situation where you have 1, possibly 2 clubs, you know, in close proximity to you. So in those instances, it might not be setting yourself apart so much from other Rotary clubs as it would be the other service organizations. So what makes Rotary different from the Lions Club? What makes Rotary different from Kiwanis, or any other kind of, you know, beneficiary kind of organizations, the benefactor organizations and nonprofits? What do you do that's different? And then it comes down to, how do you communicate those things visually? So your brand comes down to like the perception, kind of that voice, but also what people are physically looking at when they're looking at your club, especially in the different forms of media, specifically those like Facebook or websites. So what I want to do next is just kind of run through some different clubs that I found, and I did this by Google searches, Facebook search, and then just ones I was already familiar with to kind of show you a little bit of the variety that's out there. Okay, so first up, we have the E Club of South Louisiana, which was already mentioned tonight. We have Charles with us, and I want to point out, of course, they do have the Rotary at the top that has their name, but in their About Us, they do state their focus on coastal restoration. So right up front, they tell you, hey, this is our core value that we have as Rotarians have, but also specific to our region and our area. Okay, the next one I wanted to show was the Rotary Club of Hammond, Louisiana. I liked that they had the kind of call to action along with their logo that said join leaders, exchange ideas, take action, just really kind of direct points. And then they highlighted the service above self, and you can see them there with a fire rescue boat. I don't know if you can see it, but towards the end it does have the Rotary emblem there. So it's probably highlighting something that's near and dear to their club, and again, in their area. Okay, this one is all the way over across the world in St. Petersburg. So they're the St. Petersburg West Rotary Club. I really like it when clubs in different areas, they highlight in their pictures, they kind of capture a little bit of their area. And whether it's like the ones in New Orleans that kind of have the downtown actually pictured, or here where you can see the St. Petersburg architecture in the background. I think that's really neat to have on the forefront. And you never know who might look, at your page. Other Rotarians out there looking for ideas that, again, like myself, might just do a Google search and stumble across a club. So right off in the top right-hand corner, you can see a initiative that they're promoting, the free reading program. And then if you go ahead and you click that, it leads into more information on that project. And so then in line with their branding, they're saying, hey, look, okay, this is what the St. Petersburg West Rotary Club is passionate about. It's right there front and center on our page. And of course, I had to give the Lake Charles Happy Hour their own little shout out. And you see ours, we kind of work in the slogan, which I love. I did not come up with it, but some great members proposed it, and it's service with a twist. So you get that kind of happy hour vibe, like a twist of lime paired with that with the cocktail, but we're pairing service in there. And you can see what our very own Brian Petrie, who's going to present next, designed for us on the right. He worked out a logo that we incorporated on our shirts. And you can see the emblem of Rotary. Says Lake Charles, District 6200, Happy Hour Rotary, Community Service with a Twist, and that we were established in 2016 with the martini glass, also Louisiana kind of floating in there. So that's sharing a little bit of what we're about in a photo and a logo. Also below there, you can see two of our members, Alex and Matt, and it's our St. Patty's Day pub crawl. And our shirt design, again, another creation by Brian. But all of that just really ties in with our brand. Not necessarily that it's involved around drinking, but people identify, oh, it's the pub crawl, it's the happy hour Rotary. Y'all are the ones that meet at 5:30. So all of that just goes to reinforce our identity as a club. And then we use that to promote our service projects and connect everything together. Yep. Okay, and our club was actually inspired by the Mid-City New Orleans Club. And our pub crawl idea came from a fundraiser that they do called the Spoker Poker bicycle pub crawl. And they basically go from pub to pub on their bicycles. They have a good time, and they do some good fundraising for Rotary. But I wanted to also share that. And so theirs does take place in Midtown New Orleans, in Mid-City, true to their name, and they are able to promote those local businesses there. And so that's done a lot to build up their brand. This one I found doing the Facebook search. In the top left-hand corner, you'll see this is the Rotary Club of DuPont Circle, and they've customized more like their club logo. You see the Rotary wheel in the middle, and then what I can assume is the kind of like the layout of the streets of DuPont Circle. And in the picture on their page, you can also see that incorporated on their shirt. So that goes to help different, you know, if I have a different logo than some of these other clubs, I'm not just using the Rotary wheel, but I'm incorporating it in a creative way that helps identify my club. That's going to bring more awareness, and that's part of that brand image for your club. And this was one of my favorites. So it's the Rotary Club of Wall Street, New York. And you'll see their icon incorporates the bull, right? The bulls of Wall Street. And I thought that was a really neat twist. And a lot of you, if you have trouble connecting the uniqueness of a logo, what I've seen a lot is the creativity out there when it comes to the club banners and flags. You know, if you travel to a different Rotary Club out of state, you're going to go visit and you get that flag. I've seen some from Florida that incorporated the orange trees, and depending on where you go, you see a variety of different things. And for some clubs that are more set in the traditional way, well, basically that's kind of the same thing, right? So that unique pin or that unique banner or flag that you're presenting to someone, just think of that and incorporate it more into your digital branding, because that is branding. Here's another one. So the Rotary Club of San Francisco, they're promoting that they've been around for 110 years. And you can see that they did 1908 to 2018. They incorporate that into their cover photo. And that's just another way to say, okay, you know, we're the oldest Rotary Club per se in San Francisco. So they're identifying those different characteristics that make their club unique or that are part of their club's history. And this is a recent or newer club, I should say, the Rotary Club of Castro. And when the recent fellowship was founded for kind of LGBTQ, this Rotary Club also was founded. And one of their big things is they wanted you know, people who identify with that group to feel included in Rotary. And so they made specific strides to try to incorporate that into their club branding, which you can kind of see here with the flag in the background. And if you go through their page, you'll see different things and events there. So that's another thing of something that they're passionate about, a certain area of inclusivity that they want to make sure people know that Rotarians, right, transcends anything that might otherwise divide folks for a common good, and that's something that's important to them that they place on their page. That also identifies that as a value and attracts new members. So when we're talking about branding, if you're lucky, you have a wonderful graphic artist like Brian in your group. But even if you don't, Rotary has some great tools and resources out there. They have some stock photos that you can incorporate and add text to. See, if you go to My Rotary and then you log in, you can go into the brand center and go to logos, materials, ads, images, video. You can read about the different guidelines of, okay, this is what you can do, this is what you can't, which they have loosened recently. And you can use those things to help create a sophisticated image for your club as well. And with that kind of concludes what I have. Anyone's welcome to message me anytime or give me a call, but I will turn it over to Mr. Brian Petrie, who is the current president of the Lake Charles Happy Hour Rotary Club.
Awesome. Thank you, Lydia. That was a great presentation. Thank you for all the shout outs. Let's see. I'm going to open this here. All right. So what I'm presenting for you all today is 8 ways that we can utilize social media to not only build our club, but as well as help network and get more members and increase your club interaction. First thing I came up with is like, follow, and engage with other clubs. Rotary utilizes many different ways to connect, but let's be honest, the majority of the way people connect today is through social media. Facebook being one of the #1 sources for people connecting and communicating. With there being over 1.2 million members, that right there alone shows us that there are plenty of other people as well as clubs that are out there that you can connect with. Connecting with Rotary clubs around the world will not only allow you and your club to showcase the things that you're doing, the activities that you have going on, the service projects you guys are dedicated to, but it will also allow you to see inspiration from other clubs, other members who are dedicated to a separate cause that maybe you and your club hadn't even thought about yet. And that networking that starts to occur starts to build your following. For every person you reach out to, they now know your club exists. They now know what your club is interested in, and they probably want to know more. So having that page there and connecting with those Rotarians immediately will help grow the awareness of your club. Bridge the communication gap. One of the things I get asked all the time is, how does your club communicate, being that you're so spread out and in different ages and demographics? We utilize our social media pages for that particular reason. Part of the Rotary mission this year is to increase its number of Rotarians that are under 40, and using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other social media platforms to bridge that gap of communication really has enabled our club to be that diverse club. We brought the traditional form of Rotary communication to a platform that younger Rotarians are already familiar with using. Bringing it to that level has allowed us to work on projects whenever we are apart. It has allowed us to stay up to date on what other members in our club are working on and what our committees are doing individually. Build a page and start networking. So I used to teach a lot of social media classes on why your business needs to be on social media, and I feel the same way about your Rotary club. If you don't exist on social media in 2018, well, then you pretty much don't exist. According to a report on Statista, a global networking statistics company, there are roughly 2.4 billion people on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter every day. They utilize these sources for over an hour to 2 hours a day. It's estimated that over 71% of people who use the internet in general are on social media. So if your club is not on social media, you're missing all of those potential members. You're missing the communication with all of those potential organizations that are providing opportunities for you to participate in service. Building the page itself will allow for people who are prospective Rotarians to Google search you a little bit faster. It'll allow them to, who look for clubs and organizations or things. Facebook is becoming more of a search engine. So people look for Rotary clubs just by going to Facebook and typing in the search bar. However, if your club doesn't exist on these different social media platforms, they can't find you. So in a sense, if you build it, they will come. One thing I noticed about our club in particular is once we established a social media page and we started building a slight following, our page blew up almost like a celebrity in itself. People follow our Lake Charles Happy Hour Rotary page just to see what the Lake Charles Happy Hour Rotary Club is doing next. Are we doing a social? Are we doing another pub crawl? What's coming up? So as mentioned in one of the presentations earlier, it's not what you expect, it's what you inspect. If you go and you look at your ratings and your followings and your engagement that you build on these pages, you can see how many people are now starting to find your club and interacting with your club just because you have a social media page. Promote your club's identity and members. This was a key thing for me because I immediately noticed, as a person who works in social media management, how critical this was to Rotary clubs. We all have our own way of using social media, no matter how we use it, whether it's just for work or for our personal usage. This allows you to identify directly with your members. When we do a new member induction or whenever we have a service project, for example, the picture on the left with Southwest Louisiana Rise Against Hunger, that group photo has 10 people tagged in it. The reach of those 10 people that are tagged in that photo has reached another 10 or 12 people each. So everyone that they're connected with now sees that they're not only a part of this Rotary Club, but they see what this Rotary Club is doing and what it's focused on. And if that personal touch of the person they know being involved in that Rotary Club gets them more interested in being in the Rotary organization in general, or being a Rotarian in the future, or even if it just sparks some interest for them to want to get involved in the project that we're working on, that alone helps spread your club and builds your club's following. New member inductions, people always want to know, what are you doing in your life when it comes to social media? When you get tagged in a new post that says, hey, welcome our new members to the club, everyone sees it and everyone is interested and ready to congratulate you on your achievement of becoming a Rotarian. And it also shows them, hey, if that person's a Rotarian, I should probably be interested in it. Or I love all the things that that person loves. We've been friends our whole life. Maybe I should look into this. So it helps build your member engagement as well as new prospective members. Keep guests and members up to date on events. One thing we've done is created a private Facebook page, or group rather. Within that group, the only people who are allowed in the group are members of our club, and we utilize that group for our total club communication. We still make traditional phone calls, send text messages and emails and so forth. But the beauty of this is we can post our club agenda ahead of time, and everyone in the club for the next couple days knows what's going on at the next meeting, how they can get involved, how they can make our next meeting more effective, what they can bring to the club as far as assigned tasks that they were given at the previous meeting. They know what we'll be going over at the next one. And it also, from an admin point of view, allows us to be able to see at the bottom here, you see where it says seen by 28. We know how many people saw the club agenda. We know that everyone in our club is aware of what's happening and what's coming up. This also makes it easy to share district events, upcoming socials, upcoming activities, fundraisers, anything else that your club might be involved in. As you see here, Natalie shared our multi-district carnival cruise event that was created on a separate Facebook page, but she was able to take that link and share it to our group so that everyone in the group can directly click on it and get all the information on it from there, from one source. Number 6, bring awareness to projects and community needs. One of the things that our page is best known for is the promotion of our ongoing service project that we just wrapped up this year, has been the Little Free Pantry project. Little Free Pantry, we started off with building one pantry and it spread on Facebook like wildfire. It was legit the definition of a viral post. So many people got involved in wanting to be a part of Little Free Pantry and how do they participate in Little Free Pantry. We ended up partnering with the Junior League of Lake Charles and building 2 more Little Free Pantries. As a result, if you can see here, the response and the people we reached, the amount of views this video got, the amount of comments, this took a project that maybe no one involved outside of Rotary would have known about and spread it across the entire Facebook network that we're connected to. All of the packages and stuff you see in the photo were donated by people who probably found out about the project through Facebook. Many of the comments that are listed on that video post about the ribbon cutting were comments from non-Rotarians wondering how they could get involved, how they can be a part of this community project. Bring awareness to national causes and programs. We found that Facebook, utilizing our Lake Charles Happy Hour page, when we promote things that we are involved in that are not just on the local level, but the national level, people and other Rotarians on the national level take notice of it. Lots of people ask me all the time, hey, what is Rotary? What is Rotary about? What do you guys do? This gives you an opportunity to showcase not just what Rotary does locally, but what we do internationally and what causes we are focused and dedicated to serving. I know with the Red Nose activity that comes around every year, most people get the red noses to promote medical organizations and different sorts of programs. I know there's the Purple Ribbon Project, the Orange Leash Project or Yellow Leash Project for dogs. These things are national programs that people recognize. So whenever we took a photo with our red noses, immediately everyone knew what it was about and they saw that our club was participating and they immediately wanted to know what else are we involved in. Let's see. And 8, become available to all members all the time. The best part as being president of this Rotary Club that I find is that I can reach out to every one of our club members by utilizing our secret Lake Charles Happy Hour Rotary group. If there was anything that I needed to post, a last minute change to a meeting location or anything like that, we use our Lake Charles Happy Hour Rotary Club group. It also allows us to live stream all of our meetings for younger Rotarians who are either new to parenthood, who can't make it to every meeting, or their work schedule. They work 12 to 12, so they can't stop and turn around and take a break and make it to their meeting. Or if they just simply are in a position where they live too far out and going home and then coming back for the day is too difficult for them. Whatever their hiccup may be, our live streaming in our secret group has made our Rotary meetings available to all of our members. In the event that they cannot participate in person, they can always watch the full meeting online. Everyone stays up to date on what's going on, what projects we're working on, and what's coming up in the Rotary future. So at the end of my presentation, I challenge everyone, start socializing today. One of our other presenters said, do something, go out, make yourself part of something. Social media will be easier to show others what you're doing, how you got to be a part of it, and to rope them in and say, hey, don't you want to come help me out as well? Other than that, guys, that is my presentation.
Okay, Brian, I have 2 questions to direct to you.
Yeah.
One question is, how many page administrators do you feel is most effective? And the other question is, why a group page instead of its own page?
Oh, two great questions. First, how many administrators? We typically have our board and our PR committee set up as the administrators for the page. I would recommend for any social media page, whether it's a 10-person club or whether it be a 50-person club, have a minimum of 3 people who admin the page. Any less than 3, you'll be putting all the work of responding to messages, following up with posts, checking comments on the weight of 2 shoulders. Have at least a 3rd person who takes over responding to messages, have a person who regulates posting pictures, have a person who's set to just be there in the event that everyone else is busy. Having that 3-man team as a minimum is what I recommend for all social media accounts, but for a larger Rotary club, having everyone who can possibly be involved is always best. One way we identify who is responding to what, when we reply to messages that come to the group page, we simply just put a dash and we tag the name. If I reply to someone, I just put /Brian Petrie so that they know who it is that's responding, not just the page in general. It also gives us some accountability as an admin to go back and look and see who responded what and when. Now, for the second question, as far as group versus a primary page, a traditional business page is best for networking with other Rotary clubs as well as other organizations. That will be your public location in which everyone will find you. Creating the secret group allows you and your club members to interact effectively without public knowledge. If you have an upcoming event that you want to plan and work on as a group, but you may not have the time to meet separately for it, that secret Facebook group is a great platform for sharing pictures, ideas, thought processes that you come up with. You can share just about anything through Facebook. And if you set it to secret, the only people who will be involved will be the people you invite.
Okay. Does anyone have a question for any of the presenters? Okay. Well, hearing none, I'd like to thank each of my presenters for wait. Question for Charles. Can he tell a little bit more about hashtags, when and where you use these, what app engages with these, and who do they reach?
I can, but I'm so impressed with Brian, I'm going to kick that back to him. Brian, why don't you handle that one, please?
Sure thing. Hashtags are, the best way I've described them in the past, are a pinpoint. When you have a thought or an idea, for example, we do hashtag St. Patty's Day pub crawl. Hashtag St. Patty's Day pub crawl, when you attach the year to the next of it, everything that happened in that year with that hashtag, you can click on almost any social media platform and directly be linked back to all photos, videos, and other online media that has to do with that hashtag. And the beauty about hashtags this year, Facebook bought Instagram last year. So all those hashtags that you see on Instagram, they are now available split between both Facebook, Instagram, and now Twitter. Twitter used to be excluded slightly. Once they tied in with Instagram and Facebook bought Instagram, they're all one big network now. As far as what a hashtag is and the best way to use them, Jimmy Fallon gave the worst example. Hashtagging things just to hashtag them creates a debacle when you start to look for things. Keep your hashtags short. Keep them direct to the point. Creating a ongoing hashtag that will allow people to find the things that your club is doing is smarter than individually hashtagging each project. If your club is the Lake Charles, Greater Lake Charles Club, a hashtag for them that would be really good would be LC 6200, because that's something that's unique. It identifies directly with their club, and it's something that's easy to type out and remember. So when you see that popping up behind every photo, behind every Facebook post, behind every Instagram share, you see GLC 6200, and you click on it, you'll see everything that was ever shared attached to GLC 6200.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brian. Great explanation, but
we're out of time.
We're out of time. So for everyone who's still on the call, what a great picture. The recording of this will be posted. You'll receive an email with that. We're also going to send out a survey. We would please ask you to give us some feedback on the survey. We learned so much from the first one that I think it was really important to get your feedback. And I want to thank you all for attending. With that, we're done.